Two suspects make a confession, and it could be Mark's first cocaine job.
Is there anything I need to know about you?
Well, we was a bit naughty in Trinidad.
Oh, were you? The rest of the team are all going, this is it, this is a job.
The confessions continue from cannabis smugglers at sea.
And as they stepped aboard, he turned around to them and said, oh, right, well, OK, the game's up, there's 6 tons on board.
But it's nothing but lies from cigarette smugglers in Bristol.
Have you ever been stopped by customs before? Never?
No, never been stopped.
He's been stopped before, and he's been issued with a notice for one.
Sniffer dog Badger is examining baggage arriving from the Caribbean. Customs dogs are possibly the most powerful tool in the fight against drugs, and all have their own skills. Badger is known as a cocaine specialist. He gives a clear indication on this black suitcase. The case is put back on the carousel and kept under surveillance. Whoever picks it up will then be stopped and searched to see if Badger's right. A passenger collects the suspect bag and then attempts to pass through the controls. But Customs Officer Phil is waiting for her.
Hello there. Hi. Where have you just arrived from? You travelling by yourself? Yeah. Can you come to a bench for us, please? It's good to come up to this one here for us. Thanks very much. Your passport, please. Have a quick look. Right, these all your bags here? Did you pack them all yourself? Yeah. And do you know what's inside all of them?
No, I've got them clothes.
Just clothes? Have you been forced or threatened to bring anything into the UK? And do you understand the controlled drugs, firearms, they're illegal to bring into the UK? Let's have a quick look. You got the keys? Yes.
Phil checks to see which is the suspect case and then asks the nervous passenger to open it.
Okay, just going to put this one for our extra machine as well, okay?
Phil can't see anything yet, but an X-ray shows what looks like organic material in the wall of the case.
So that's probably what we're looking for. I'll quickly go and do this, quickly go and spike it, just make sure.
Phil finds a white powder, which he tests to see if it is cocaine.
Let's see.
The speed of the reaction indicates the quality of the drugs.
It's actually not reacting.
It's gone now, look. It's
sort of.
It's obviously not very good quality.
That's what we were hoping for, but a bit quicker and a bit more.
The purity is low, but Badger's legendary nose for cocaine has sniffed out another smuggler.
Okay, the time is 07:32, and I'm arresting you on suspicion of being involved in the importation of a controlled drug. You do not have to say anything. It may harm your defence. Do not mention, when questioned, something which you later on in court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand? Yeah.
The woman's face says it all. Bootleggers use ferries to bring in large quantities of tobacco, and officers are cracking down on so-called backy buses. Amongst all the innocent travellers, a passenger's offered a free trip away by bootleggers, as long as they agree to carry back the guideline allowance of tobacco, which the organisers then collect and sell on the black market.
Did either of you purchase or obtain anything while you were away?
I've just got 100 cedis.
100?
Yeah, myself.
Yeah, and what
And
about
I got
you?
some tobacco.
Yeah, how much have you got?
20.
20 what?
20 packs of 10.
Right, OK. Can I ask you just to pop with them?
Yeah.
That officer just to have a quick look at your bag.
This passenger has 10 kilos of tobacco worth nearly £2,000. Now it's up to the officers to find out if it's for her own use. If not, it will be seized. In Bristol, dozens of flights a day arrive from outside the EU. Officers target these flights to make sure no one brings in more than their allowance of 200 cigarettes to sell on the UK's black market. Usually bags are X-rayed to catch the bootleggers in the act, but today a passenger hurrying through the customs channel alerts Jane, who pulls him in for a chat in the search bay.
Have you got any cigarettes?
No.
None at all? No? Can you just get that one up on the bench and I'll just have a quick look in it, please?
Well, I won't walk away now. Just take it.
You have got
Yes,
cigarette.
yes.
What? Can you just get that up there?
The initial lie didn't work, and it's closely followed by another.
Tell me how well I got.
Right, okay.
But Jane's having none of it.
Can you get the other case just up on that bench and open it up for me?
Both bags are full of Turkish cigarettes, and the passenger is full of lies.
Have you got any in your hand luggage? Yeah, all right. Yeah. Well, you are, yeah.
We're not under arrest, so...
No.
No,
What?
come walk away.
Well, we'll do you some paperwork. You are obviously over the allowance, so they are going to be
Obviously,
seen.
it's not against the law to do that.
Well, what I'm going to do is do you some paperwork.
The goods will be seized and destroyed, and if he's had goods seized before, he may face a fine or a prison sentence. In Portsmouth, Nikki's now questioning the ferry passenger carrying 10 kilos of tobacco to work out if she may be carrying it for someone else.
How many times have you been on previously?
I was here last month.
Last month?
No, sorry, September.
Okay.
The 2nd.
Right, and how many times have you travelled on the Bilbao this year?
About 3.
About 3 times?
Yeah.
Okay, have you been stopped by customs before?
No.
No.
A few simple checks tells Nikki that this passenger is also telling lies.
She normally brings in 3 kilos and a full quantity of cigarettes as well, and done that, but that was back then. Just see if she's been jobbed before. So as well. She's a well-stocked customer.
Lying to a customs officer isn't a good idea, especially if you want to keep your tobacco. But Nikki suspects she's carrying it as part of an organised backy bus.
Some of these are for some of your family?
Yeah.
Okay. And how much money have they given you towards their contribution towards the goods?
They haven't really given me anything because I'll give them gifts, you know, for Christmas.
Right, okay, so you don't expect to receive any payment of any sort for these goods? How much should they cost you?
£340.
£340 for all of it?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It turns out the woman's travelling on a coach known to customs as one of their regular backy buses. The passenger is offered an interview, but she decides to give up.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not under arrest.
I'll leave the stuff. Have you got the passport? Because there's other people waiting to go home, you know what I mean?
Okay, so you don't want... Do you want me to detain the goods, or do you just want to abandon them?
Just abandon them.
Just
want
abandon
my
them?
passport, yeah.
Okay, so you don't want to stay for interview, and you do not want me to
I
detain
need
your
to
goods?
get home. My father needs me, and there's people waiting on the coach.
Okay, so you just want to leave your goods and walk away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Knowing that organisers of backy buses tell their carriers to abandon their goods in case they give too much away in interview, convinces Nikki she's done the right thing. But the woman insists she's done nothing wrong.
It's over. We're not doing no drugs or nothing, you know what I mean? You should be looking after waste you know, I'm not a criminal, but you should be looking more to criminals, shouldn't they? Thank
There's
you.
your passports back. She has been stopped by customs before, even though she claims that she hadn't. I was not happy in my own mind to let her proceed with the goods unless I knew they were for her own personal use, and on this occasion, I don't believe they were.
Back in Bristol, Jane's waiting for the results of background checks on the man caught with 11,000 Turkish cigarettes.
Have you ever been stopped by customs before? Never?
No, never been stopped.
So if I check the records now, I'm not...
The checks reveal this to be yet another lie.
Just a record to see if he's had anything seized from him before, or if she's had anything seized from him before. Don't think he has, but he's been stopped before, and he's been issued with a notice 1.
He said to me initially, I said, have you got cigarettes? He went, no. I said, well, I'm going to look in your bags. And he said, oh, they're full. And he said that he knows.
Okay.
So I'll just get rid of him, I think.
The man has been stopped before, but it's his first seizure, so escapes a fine. Although he's lost the cigarettes, which will be added to the billions taken off the black market by customs each year.
You could tell that this was for resale because of all the different
brands. Yeah. And there was no luggage.
Yeah.
And they were both trying to race through without getting eye contact with anyone. And that was why I went after him, because I think he was trying to get out quite quickly.
Meanwhile, the woman in Gatwick's South Terminal won't be leaving just yet.
What, just leave that there? Just come around here. Go and take a seat on the far side, please.
Okay, do you understand why you've been arrested? No. Okay, we found what we believe to be a controlled drug in your bag.
She's keeping quiet. Not surprising, as there's around 1 kilo of pure cocaine in her suitcase.
So it's all the way around the bag. You can feel it as well, how thick it is.
Good job.
The woman's taken to the custody cells for questioning. If found guilty, she could be facing a long prison sentence. The drugs, worth nearly £50,000, have been taken off the streets, and it's all thanks to Badger.
There's always that time between the indication when they actually find it. Sometimes it can be up to sort of quarter of an hour before they actually give you the thumbs up there's something there. That's a bit of a worrying time. But with that indication, more or less knew there was something there straight away.
The UK's airports are where customs make most Class A seizures. Today in Gatwick, officers are waiting for targets suspected of bringing in cocaine from Trinidad. The 2 women could be the first cocaine job ever for new officer Mark.
Nervous because the rest of the team are all going, this is it, this is a job. They've definitely got it. So I'm nervous. Really trying not to be.
2 drug couriers carrying 3 kilos of cocaine were found on this flight yesterday. These 2 women were meant to be on that flight, and their highly excitable behaviour is raising suspicions further.
Thank you. Okay, has anybody asked you to bring anything back for them?
Not this time.
Not this time?
Nah, not this time. We were too naughty to do it this time.
Okay, right. Is it back to work then on Monday?
No, children, we're housewives.
Yeah, got a lot of
Small housewives too. Cooking and cleaning.
Obviously, just flying out somewhere very nice and...
Tuesday was horrible.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was
They're
very
so rough
horrible.
and rude.
And their dogs are treated like rats.
And we could be kidnapped. We had to be escorted everywhere we rented.
Right.
Rented.
Okay. So this is going to sound a silly question, but so obviously the tickets for getting out there and staying out there could be quite expensive. How did you pay for your tickets?
Somebody provided us them.
Oh right, that was nice of them. Who was that then? Was that
Tony?
that was nice of him. Why did he do that?
He's got quite a lot of money, to be honest with you.
Their behaviour and their story convince Mark that he's about to get his first cocaine seizure, but the first swab shows no trace.
Completely clear.
Chris joins Mark to dig a little deeper.
Hello, Christopher. Crime Stopper.
Oh, really? Right, now, do you need a hand?
Yeah, would you like to stick my one?
Actually, if you've just taken the words out of my mouth.
Or do you want me to
or if you want to pop this
you?
through, just... Yeah, well, it was just...
Oh, yes.
Oh, how exciting.
Not as exciting as it sounds.
I'd like an X-ray while I'm here.
Well, we could actually arrange that if you wish, but not just yet.
We'll cross that. We'll cross that bridge in a minute.
Okay, that looks about done. Okay, I'll take this one away. Yeah, don't worry, we'll get that sorted.
Can I come with you? What do you want?
That is obviously...
There's something not quite right there. Yeah. The fact is it's not opening and closing properly, which to me is a bit suspicious. Feels a little bit heavy at the bottom here. I'll just have a quick look.
Where are you taking him, Malcolm?
I'm sure he'll be as gentle as he can.
The bags are clean, but with so much to gain from smuggling, sometimes couriers carry drugs inside their bodies.
We'll go for a strip search, presumably, rather than... What I'm about to do, I'm going to go and speak to a colleague because I'm going to ask for somebody to do a search of person.
Search of what?
Yeah, because of... well, that's not something that we can do now. It would just be a visual. It would be a visual inspection. Well, because of where you've come from. Hang on just a second. Hang on just a second. Where you've come from, you've both said to me, obviously, your housewives, you don't have the money. Obviously, you said Uncle Tony's paid for it. No, that's absolutely fine. But obviously, we come across people that don't have money that other people pay to go out and bring drugs in. So it's something that we need to check.
They're not happy, but a body search will find the truth.
So the quicker I go, the quicker it gets done. All right?
Officers aboard the cutters protect our coastline against drug smugglers, who are a constant but invisible threat. The These high-powered ships operate in all weathers. But in September 2000, a storm off the coast of Cornwall drove them back into Falmouth in search of shelter. Always on the lookout for suspicious activity, they noticed another vessel taking refuge from the heavy seas.
The vessel, rather than coming into Falmouth, it turned and went to the other side of Carrick Roads, which is into a small harbour, which is actually St Mawes.
The officers thought it was a local, but then watched as it tied up in a dangerous position.
As the tide started to go out, they realised that this mooring was actually on a mud bank or a sand bank, and the yacht was actually settling and starting to tip.
Always ready to respond to a fellow sailor in need, the cutter decided to help.
So they launched their onboard rigid inflatable, their rib, motored across into St Mawes Harbour, went to the vessel and challenged it.
The officers had come to help, but the man on board was a smuggler who made a startling confession.
And as they stepped aboard, he turned round to them and said, "Oh, right, well, OK, the game's up, there's 6 tons on board."
The officers' act of charity had paid dividends.
They were completely flabbergasted. The first reaction was, "And what do we do now?" And then somebody managed, so I better get a notebook out and make a note of this, because effectively I've got a confession already before we go to court. At which point they arrested him.
The skipper was John Moore. He led them into the cabin to see the drugs for themselves.
There were bales of cannabis literally in every available space within the vessel.
They also found evidence he wasn't working alone.
But 2 passports were actually found on the vessel. So they decided that the best thing to do was to remove him from the vessel. 3 of the cutter crew stayed on board the ketch and wait and see if the crew came back in the morning.
Moore's accomplices did return, right into the trap.
It was about 8 o'clock in the morning. 2 men jumped into the cockpit of the yacht, and basically the cutter crew arrested them there and then.
The accomplices, Craig and Needham, joined their skipper at the police station, where Moore's frank confessions continued.
And he was presented to the custody sergeant. He was then asked, "What's your occupation?" To which he replied, "I'm a drug smuggler."
This time, however, he'd failed. On the day of the trial, all 3 pleaded guilty to their part in the crime.
Mr. Moore was subsequently sentenced to 10 years imprisonment, Mr. Needham to 4 years imprisonment, and Mr. Craig to 5 years imprisonment.
3 more criminals were behind bars, thanks to the keen eyes of the officers and a stroke of luck.
The street value at that time was estimated to be in the region of £14.5 million. At the end of the day, the vessel being forced into Falmouth was really the only reason that we were able to intercept this load. Without that, it's very unlikely anybody would have known that this consignment of drugs was on its way.
Back in Gatwick's North Terminal, Mark is still hoping to find his first drug smuggler. His 2 female suspects are about to be searched. So far, they've cooperated, but the daughter is getting angry.
The search, yeah, obviously I can...
We're going to have a search. As soon as we've had that search, I think we should be able to leave. We've got children to get back to. You're delaying us for no reason. Once you've searched us, you know we have nothing on us, so why are we still holding your custody?
Their story suggests they're carrying drugs, and Mark waits expectantly outside for the results.
Bend over slightly. No, slightly. That's right, and part the cheeks of your bottom.
The strip search finds nothing, but Mark refuses to give up just yet.
A pair of shoes from the lady that we've just searched. I'm going to swab them with our tool that checks for drugs, as it can be an indication that they've swallowed drugs. So I shall do that and get a result. A small indication.
The indication means Mark wants to do a body scan.
0.5, something to think about. With these indications, keen to go for an X-ray, which the mum has already sort of informally said she's happy to do.
What about the daughter in terms of X-ray? Do you think she'll be happy to do that?
She's not happy to be here at the moment.
If you don't think they're going to stay, you're going to have to look at arresting her.
Worried about the daughter's reaction to the X-ray, they decide to arrest them.
I'm arresting you on suspicion of being involved with the importation of a controlled drug. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court.
Who wants to go first then? Let's get moving.
The daughter agrees to be X-rayed first. In just a few seconds, Mark will know if they've swallowed packages of cocaine.
We ain't swallowed nothing, believe you me.
Right.
Against the odds, both scans are clear. And Mark admits that this won't be his first Class A drug bust.
7:58, you're unarrested.
Thank you very much.
Mark and the ladies part as friends.
And you're glad we weren't smugglers, aren't you?
Yes and no.
Why no?
Because I haven't had my first...
Catch of the day.
Exactly. Well, I'm still fairly new at this, and I haven't had my first successful job yet. Not that I'm wishing you particularly were a drug smuggler, but you know.
And we do understand drugs is very bad in England, and we would not contribute to bringing in drugs. Because my husband died of a heroin overdose, my brother died of a heroin overdose, so I do understand drugs do not need to be in this country. I've got 4 children who I don't want on drugs, you know what I mean? So I'm anti-drugs, and I understand why you have to do this, you know what I mean? And all good on them, yeah.
In Gatwick, a flight has arrived from Montego Bay. During a routine passenger search, UK border officers have found a package that looks like it could contain drugs. The passenger has been arrested.
The lady came off the Montego Bay flight and she was intercepted by one of our officers. Upon searching her bag, he found a package which we believed to contain cocaine. Took her to a search room. Whilst the package was being tested, the package tested positive for cocaine.
Knowing she's been caught red-handed, the woman confesses to other packages of drugs hidden under her clothes.
Right. This is what was found in the back of the suitcase. It's what we would call a stuffer's package, which would be put up somebody's backside probably. But that was found in the bag, and that was what we decided made it a job. And then during the ship search, we found this, which is all full of cocaine attached to her waist.
The audacious smuggling attempt also involved some highly modified underwear.
This little Bodypackers suit filled with cocaine.
It's a massive amount of drugs for one person to be carrying.
Nearly 2.5 kilos of coke on the body.
The seizure demonstrates the officer's skill in identifying smugglers.
Just stopped just to ask her a few questions. No real reason to stop her over anybody else. Historically, we tend to get more cannabis than we do cocaine in the flight. So she obviously saw her opportunity, knowing what she had on her person, and just walked through the channels. Unfortunately for her, she was stopped. Are we cuffing?
Suddenly realizing how much trouble she's in, the woman goes into shock.
Right, no more jumping around, okay? Stand up straight. Yeah? You're gonna walk with me? You're gonna walk? You're gonna behave yourself. I know it's hard, but you just need to...
The woman is taken to a holding bay for further questioning. Officers will need to be extra vigilant to ensure that she doesn't try to harm herself again. In Manchester, officers have received a call for backup from the other terminal. A passenger's fruit has given a massive hit for Class A drugs.
We've just been called over to Terminal 3. There's a lady, I believe, travelling from Barbados. Is it via Gatwick, Gary? Or Heathrow? It's on one of the shuttles. We believe they've found cocaine in Yams. So we're just coming over to see what's going on.
Cocaine can be hidden anywhere, and with a street value of £50,000 per kilo, smugglers will go to extraordinary lengths to avoid detection.
Yams. Have you x-rayed them?
I've x-rayed them, just a bulky mass.
Right.
You couldn't tell from the x-ray whatsoever.
The initial trace was off the scale, but Border Officer Liz thinks it may be a false alarm.
Okay, we're not sure we've actually got anything. The officer spiked one of the Yams and he's got a really high reading for cocaine off the machine there, but it's possible just contamination on the spike, so we're just going to cut right into these. We've had it in mangoes, coconuts, pineapples. Looks like there's nothing in these though, unfortunately.
Investigating further, the officers discover more potentially incriminating details. The woman's passport is brand new and her ticket was paid for in cash.
Is someone meeting her?
Her mum says she's
yeah.
mum's meeting.
I mean, if you want to put stab vests on, and go and have a word and just verify a story, there's no harm there.
Still suspicious, the officers decide to investigate the woman's claim she's being met by her mother.
Obviously, for our protection, we need to have body armour on, in case if it is a drugs job, the people who are meeting will obviously be looking for those drugs and be rather upset. So we need to be armoured up.
Just going to take your shoes for a second, that's yours as well.
Officers continue to carry out further tests for drugs.
Go ahead. When someone's got an internal concealment for drugs, their sweat comes out onto the shoes and the drugs shows in the sweat. So it's an indication that they might have something. They could have taken something, but it gives us grounds to do an internal body scan or something like that. It's come back negative, so there's no trace on the shoes.
The woman's ordeal continues as the team carry out more drug tests on the baggage.
But she's not really got many clothes or anything for a month's stay. It's that bag as well, that's a bag Constellation that a while ago we had a lot of seizures in.
A radio message comes through from the officers sent to meet the woman's mother.
No, there's no one out there waiting for her.
Yes, yes.
It's very strange though that her mum's not waiting for her outside, but you know, that in itself is not enough, is it?
So she might have been delayed.
With no sign of the mother, the woman remains under arrest until the officers can prove that she's telling the truth. In Gatwick, the woman found carrying 2.5 kilos of cocaine has been transported to the custody cells.
You okay? Keep walking forward. Have you got anything inside you that's hurting? No? No. Okay, do you want to come forward?
Having tried to harm herself, officers have handcuffed the woman for her own protection.
If the officer takes you, I understand you were banging your head upstairs. If the officer takes your cuffs off, you promise me not to do that here, yeah? Just move this way. I don't want you damaged. I'm here to look after your welfare and your rights and your health. I don't want you damaging yourself while you're here. Right. Lift your hands up for me.
So this lady's arrived from Montego Bay this morning. Search of her hand baggage revealed a cylindrical package. Cut was made in the package, which revealed a white paste.
Harold, are you? Sorry, I can't hear you. Have you also swallowed? I need to know from a health and safety point of view. If you have, it's a danger to yourself.
I don't take drugs.
Okay. So you haven't swallowed anything as well? Okay, that's good.
Having found a substantial amount of cocaine on her person, officers must make sure
What
she's
it
not
is it's just
carrying
going to be another
drugs
search.
anywhere else.
And then there's the hairpiece.
All right. I didn't even notice that was it. Nothing lots in that, yeah?
Yeah, I searched it already. When we told her that we were going to take her to custody and put her into a cell, she started slapping her own face and banging her head on the table, which is obviously not a good sign. So myself and another officer ran into the room and restrained her and applied some handcuffs. We now have to watch her because of her behaviour, and you know, we have to be extra alert, not knowing how she's going to react when she gets locked into a cell, how she's going to act when she's on her own, if she's going to try and harm herself. do feel sorry for them sometimes because you wonder what it takes for them to actually do something like this. Yeah, just that amount on the person, 2.5 kilos is a lot to have. It's quite greedy.
Having already shown signs that she's prepared to self-harm, officers must ensure that nothing further happens to her whilst in their custody.
Because of that sort of thing, she might try and top herself, so we have to watch them on camera.
And she'll have to get used to being locked up. She was sentenced to 7 years in prison. In Manchester, officers are discussing the woman arrested on suspicion of smuggling cocaine in Yams.
I don't really think I've got enough to,
No,
do any further.
I don't think you've got enough to go any further, to be honest with you. But obviously, the reason you arrested her in the first place is because you thought you had drugs in the Yams. Now, if you haven't...
To an arrest.
Well, yeah. But wait for Gary to come back in and see what Gary says, because obviously he's in charge. But I would say you haven't really got enough.
No.
Officer Gary radios through to say he's finally met the woman's mother outside.
All right, okay.
Having found no further evidence of cocaine, officers accept their false readings must have come from using a contaminated knife.
We've looked in your bags, we've looked further, and in further investigation, looking into the yams and stuff, there isn't anything in there. We've made a mistake. When we tested it, it's given a false reading on our machine, so there isn't anything in there. So you're no longer under arrest. And I want to apologise for keeping you, but thank you for your patience anyway, and you can relax now, okay? So we're going to repack all your bags, and then we'll let you go outside, all right? Okay, and hopefully you'll enjoy your holiday here.
Whilst it's been an unnecessary ordeal for the woman, it shows that Class A drug hits must be investigated properly to ensure only guilty smugglers end up behind
Go through
bars.
this way, that's the way out, okay? Just keep going through. Thank you.
It's a quiet afternoon at Manchester Airport. A flight from Sweden has just landed, and UK border officers have caught a suspected cigarette smuggler walking through baggage reclaim.
We've got three big suitcases full of ciggies, so we're going to have to come down. They're all going to need these laffy in, I think. We have to come down. We're going to have looks like they're all loose in that, so we're going to have to count them.
Do you speak English? Don't mess around. A bit, yeah. You can see you speak enough English to smuggle cigarettes. Right, what flight are you on?
You get a ticket?
Stockholm flight. What carousel were you on? This carousel?
The man started his journey in Estonia, a known source country for cheap cigarettes.
Just noticed this guy leaving, and they're all full.
Happy days.
Where'd you come from? Sweden. We started his journey in Estonia. And when did you fly back to Estonia?
No.
Hmm?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
No. Sometime.
You must have a ticket to go back to Estonia.
Yes, I know.
Well, when is it?
I don't hear it yet.
You haven't been given it yet?
I haven't bought it yet.
No, what day are you flying back to Estonia?
I haven't decided yet.
Right, in here.
Seasoned Officer Gary isn't amused by the man's vague answers.
I've just got to come outside and saw this guy wandering around outside looking for the exit. And when I looked at his bags, they look quite square. So when I went over to speak to him, he told me he was from Estonia, which is a place where a lot of people bring cigarettes in from. When I felt the bag, they were rock hard, which suggests to us that they're full of cigarettes. And they are.
Happy days.
So how many times have you been to the UK?
A few.
How many?
The man's failure to answer simple questions is starting to annoy Gary.
Look, let's start from the beginning. Don't play stupid, right?
What do you mean?
Don't pretend that you don't know how many times you've been to the UK. You do know. Is it once, twice, 3 times, 10 times?
3 or 4.
Well, that's fine. Then that's the answer.
I don't remember exactly.
What do you mean you don't remember? When was the last time you came here? Long time ago. When? I can go in and check the airlines So either tell me the truth or I'll find out.
I tell you, maybe a couple of months.
Right. And on that occasion, you had cigarettes as well?
No.
No.
As officers uncover more and more cigarettes, it looks like it could be their biggest seizure ever. At Gatwick Airport, passengers are preparing to board a flight to Ghana. The UK border officers' cash
Lovely,
team is
thank
using
you.
specially trained sniffer dogs to search out large amounts
Thanks
of
very
money,
much.
which could have links to organised crime.
Okay, you're not scared of customs officers, are you? Sorry? Not scared of customs officers. This ticket, did you buy this yourself?
No, my sponsor.
You who?
My sponsor bought it for me.
Your sponsor?
In Ghana.
In Ghana.
As well as looking for large sums of cash, officers are on the lookout for drugs and to check the immigration status of passengers.
Hello. Do you carry any cash with you today?
Yeah.
You don't show us around how much you have with you.
I think it's 1,000. I'm going to give it to his mom.
Yeah, how much do you have? That's the question I asked. Money.
1,050.
Any more?
Any more cash?
Any
And
more
then
cash?
my personal cash.
How much do you have in total?
Roughly. Roughly, let's say about 400. My personal cash.
Okay. Thank you.
The man's answers are not entirely convincing for Senior Officer Paul.
Hello, it's just two of you travelling.
Yes, please.
Yeah, just have a quick word with you.
Okay.
No, you got your hands full there. You told the officer when the dog indicated you had £400 in personal cash.
Yeah.
Are you carrying any cash for anybody else at all?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His mom.
How much have you got in total?
1,050.
Could you show me that, please?
Yes.
Is there any more cash in the baggage here?
No.
So, who does the child belong to? Is it your son? Is it
No,
yours?
it's a friend of friend.
So you've been asked to take this child
Yes,
back to its mum?
please.
Okay, hold on a second.
The man's story rings alarm bells for Paul.
How much do you have?
I need your help in a minute.
Okay.
What's your relationship?
As a family friend.
And where's the father at the moment?
The father is at the airport.
At the airport.
Yes.
He's not flying though.
No, he's not flying.
This gentleman's taken a child out that's not his.
Right.
With the flight due to leave in 20 minutes, officers have a race against time to verify the man's story.
So, where does the child normally live? In Ghana or in the UK?
This is my first time here. I came to meet him here.
Right.
And we go to check together. And he asked me if I can do him a favor and take his son to Ghana. But the dad is at the airport.
So the parents live in the UK?
Yeah.
Okay, right. What we've got a situation where a gentleman is travelling out with a small boy. He's not related to the child. So I'm going to try and make some inquiries with the parents to check where the child normally lives. The child appears to have been here about a year on a visit visa, which is possibly longer than we would expect on that type of visa. So I want to know what the immigration status of the parents is as well, really.
With passengers starting to board the plane, a decision must be made imminently about whether the man and the child will be leaving the country.
Do you know what the full number is?
In Manchester, officers are still counting the thousands of cigarettes intercepted from an Estonian smuggler.
So who are you meeting outside?
Nobody.
Who are you giving these cigarettes to?
Somebody.
Yeah, who? Don't you know his name?
I don't know. I just bring it here
And he will take them off you outside?
No.
Where'd you have?
Me, myself.
Where'd you have to go to hand them over? Manchester?
Maybe London.
London?
Maybe. It's not the point where.
No, it is to me. It may not be to you, but I'm asking you, where do you take the cigarette? If you don't know, don't they tell you where the cigarettes are going?
Probably.
Well, you're not doing this on your own, are you? It's obviously a gang.
Why I cannot be myself.
Don't insult my intelligence, mate. Right? On your best day, you're not as good as me on my worst day. Right, so either say nothing, don't give me any rubbish. I know what's going on here. Right?
It takes 3 officers to count the enormous haul of cigarettes.
Total count is 46,560.
It's a huge seizure of cigarettes, with a street value of more than £20,000.
As you're probably aware, all these cigarettes are going to be seized. Do you understand that? And all the bags that they were carried in are going to be seized, right?
Why bags?
Because I said so. Right, what I'm doing now, I'm getting you a receipt for the cigarettes, right? I'm going to give you a receipt. I'm going to give you a warning letter, because next time you will be arrested. Do you understand that? You come in here with all these cigarettes again, I will arrest you. Understand? Okay, there's the door.
With no previous convictions, the man is allowed to go free, but next time, he'll end up behind bars.
They try and think that they can say whatever they want to say. No, at the end of the day, we will arrest these people. I just don't like the idea that they can just be so blasé about it all, as if we can't do anything about it. Well, we will.
At Gatwick Airport, officers have just minutes to decide whether a child will be allowed to leave for Ghana with a man who isn't his father.
Right, I've just checked the status of the mother and the father. The father appears to be in the UK on some sort of permit.
If you hold the line 1 second, put the father on the phone.
Hello, sir. Hi, I understand you're the child's father. Right, yeah, and you've given a covering letter for Mr. Bonsu to travel with the child. Okay. Can you just confirm to me, sir, what's your own immigration status in the UK? How long have you got your visa for? Do you know when they rejected that application? When would that be, roughly?
You can understand the reasons why we need to make sure.
Maybe you don't want me kidnap somebody's son.
Exactly, that's the reason. Particularly with children.
Yeah.
And have you made any application for the child to be in the UK as a resident?
As the final call is made for all remaining passengers, officers must quickly make a decision.
You right there, Jane?
Yeah, I've spoken to the father and I've done some checks with our own database and he's able to verify some of what's on there, so I'm happy that he is the father.
Right.
So,
are they allowed to travel?
Yeah. I'm endorsing the passports with their departure date, well, with the child's anyway, because he's been here too long on the wrong visa, basically. But the checks confirm our records, so yeah, I'm going to allow them to travel. Better get them on their way, though. OK, I spoke to the father and he's verified most of my checks, so that's fine. OK, there you go. Cheers then. Thank you.
Although under pressure, the officers are happy they've made the right decision.
I was very aware that the clock's ticking and you've got to make a decision, you know, whether to offload them and make a whole load more inquiries, but yeah, I think I wrapped it up just in time.